Scene script. Picture this scene. You're in a conversation and suddenly a reflexive pronoun pops up. You pause, unsure of what it means or how to respond. This scenario is more common than you think, but fear no more. Today, we delve into the unique world of reflexive pronouns. Imagine walking through a hall of mirrors. Each mirror reflects you back to yourself. In a similar vein, reflexive pronouns in language serve as these mirrors. They reflect the action of the verb back to the subject. A quick example. I taught myself to cook. Here, myself reflects the action back to the subject I. These linguistic mirrors play a crucial role in our day-to-day communication, ensuring our sentences make complete sense. They help us clarify who is doing what to whom, making our expressions clear and coherent. So, buckle up as we set off on a fascinating journey to unravel the magic of reflexive pronouns. By the end of this video, reflexive pronouns will no longer be a mystery to you. Now let's unravel the mystery of singular reflexive pronouns. Diving into the depths of grammar, we discover singular reflexive pronouns. These are words like myself, yourself, herself, himself, and itself. Singular reflexive pronouns are like mirrors reflecting the action back to a singular subject. They're the linguistic equivalent of a boomerang. You throw it out there, but it always comes back to you. For instance, consider the sentence, John cut himself while shaving. Here, himself is the singular reflexive pronoun, and the action of cutting is reflected back onto John, the subject. It's important to remember that singular reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object of a sentence are the same. If you say, I see myself in the mirror, I is the subject and myself is the object. They're the same person, making myself a singular reflexive pronoun. But what happens if we change the sentence to I see her in the mirror? Here, I is the subject and her is the object. They're different people, so we don't use a singular reflexive pronoun. So, singular reflexive pronouns are like linguistic boomerangs, always coming back to the subject. They help us to express actions that a subject does to itself, bringing clarity and precision to our sentences. Remember, singular reflexive pronouns refer back to a singular subject. After mastering singular reflexive pronouns, it's time to tackle plural reflexive pronouns. In the fascinating world of English grammar, plural reflexive pronouns are another delightful layer of complexity. They are words that end in selves, such as ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. These pronouns are used to indicate that the action of the verb is being done by the subject to the subject. For example, consider the sentence, the children dressed themselves for school. Here, themselves refers back to the children, indicating they performed the action of dressing on their own. Now let's discuss the usage rules. Plural reflexive pronouns always reflect back to a plural noun or pronoun. They are used when the subject and the object of the sentence are the same. For instance, in the sentence, we should be proud of ourselves, the pronoun ourselves refers back to we, underscoring that the action of being proud applies to us. It's also important to remember that plural reflexive pronouns cannot stand alone. They need a plural antecedent. Without it, the sentence would be incomplete or incorrect. For example, they built the house themselves is correct, but built the house themselves is not. As you navigate the complexities of English grammar, remember that practice is key. Try constructing your own sentences using plural reflexive pronouns and see how they add depth to your expression. Just like singular reflexive pronouns, plural reflexive pronouns refer back to plural subjects. Even native speakers sometimes stumble over reflexive pronouns. Let's explore common mistakes and how to avoid them. One common mistake is using reflexive pronouns when they are not needed. For example, saying, I myself baked a cake when simply saying, I baked a cake would suffice. The reflexive pronoun myself is not necessary in this case, as there is no need to emphasize that the action is being done by the subject. Another common mistake is confusing reflexive pronouns with intensive pronouns, which look exactly the same but serve different purposes. Remember, reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object of a verb are the same. For instance, she cut herself while cooking. Intensive pronouns, on the other hand, are used to emphasize the subject. For example, she herself cut the vegetables. Let's not forget about the misuse of myself to sound more formal or polite. You might hear someone say, "If you have any questions, please feel free to ask myself." Sounds fancy, right? However, it's incorrect. The correct sentence is, "If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me." Another common mistake is using reflexive pronouns in place of subject pronouns. For example, saying, "Myself and John are going to the park" instead of "John and I are going to the park." The first sentence is incorrect because myself is a reflexive pronoun, which should not be used as a subject pronoun. Also, pay attention to the correct reflexive pronoun for each subject. For instance, I pairs with myself, you pairs with yourself, and they pairs with themselves. Saying "I hurted yourself" is incorrect. The correct sentence is "I hurt myself." Now remember, practice makes perfect. The more you use these pronouns correctly, the more natural it will feel. And when in doubt, always check if the subject and object of the verb are the same. If they are, you're likely in reflexive pronoun territory. Avoiding these common mistakes will make your communication more effective and accurate. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned about reflexive pronouns. We've journeyed through the terrain of singular and plural reflexive pronouns, identifying their unique roles and placements in sentences. We've discovered how they reflect the action back onto the subject, creating a linguistic mirror that adds depth to our expression. We've also tackled the common errors that can trip us up and learned the correct practices to avoid them. We've seen how these self-reflecting words can be mistaken for their close relatives, the intensive pronouns, and learned to distinguish between the two. We've engaged in activities, filled in blanks and crafted dialogues, all to strengthen our understanding of these fascinating language elements. Remember, every reflexive pronoun you correctly use is a testament to your growing proficiency in English. Remember, mastering reflexive pronouns is a significant step towards becoming a proficient English speaker. So keep practicing, keep learning, and let's continue this journey together.